Welcome back to the NITE Economics YouTube channel, and today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. Again, if you're liking the content, please subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and let's get into today's video. So here I'm looking at the price of Bitcoin here on the daily chart, and as you could see, Bitcoin officially, when was it? Yesterday? But yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, Bitcoin officially had a silver cross to the upside, so that's when the yellow, the 21 exponential moving average, moves above the 55 exponential moving average. And when this happens, especially during a bear market, you usually have a retest to the 21 simple moving average, which is currently sitting at $86,800. So yeah, it might even get a little bit higher. I think it could potentially get up to the spot 786. So somewhere between the spot 618 and spot 786, it gets somewhere in that pocket. I'm thinking it's gonna actually retest the 200 simple moving average before moving back down, and that will get it'll get a lot of people really excited. Everyone's gonna start turning super bullish again. Bitcoin getting up to that, and I think it might just have a quick wick up there before getting rejected and moving further down, because we're in a bear market, unfortunately, and that's what happens. And I'll show you guys historically what this has looked like. So, and actually that's the first time we have the 21 exponential moving average moving above the 55 exponential moving average, since it moved down here below it back in October. So pretty much after the all-time high, it went super bearish, right? So let's take a look. In past bear markets, Bitcoin does this. It's very common for it to do it. So let's get in here. Let me zoom in for you guys. So you could see here, Bitcoin drops off, right? And it actually happens during the same time of the year, right? So this is the 2022 bear market. So you could see this happened, this retest of the 200 simple moving average happened in March, and it actually happened rather quickly, considering rather quickly from when the price action moved below the 200 simple moving average. It retested it rather quickly, so that probably got people a little bit more bullish than now, I would say. But anyways, regardless, you could see you had the 21 move, you had the silver cross 21 move above the 55, and then rapidly after that, like a couple days later, retested the 200 simple moving average. So you can see it happened in 2022, but it was essentially a bull trap, and I'm sure it got a lot of people excited, and boom, it dumped on you, went further down for months, really. So this was in March of 2022. Was it March? The retest was actually in March 2022, 28th. So pretty much the end of March. So kind of like around now, we're in mid-April. So that was in 2022. Let's take a look at let's take a look at this one over here. So this one happened over here. We had the 21. Let me take this off of. There we go. So we have you could see the 21 exponential moving average move above the 55 exponential moving average after living below it for what appears to be several months. So January 2018 all the way to April 2018. Yeah, so like 4 months is living underneath the 21 is underneath the 55. You see Bitcoin gets below the 200 simple moving average. Then we have this cross to the upside, and boom, we have a retest. And it's kind of similar, we're having like an uptrend right now in Bitcoin. There's an uptrend here in Bitcoin during this time as well. But as you can see, a retest to 200 simple moving. I mean, it actually did it before even that cross, but it did it one time, got rejected, right? Got rejected a little bit, but then we had the silver cross to the upside, retested the 200 simple moving average, then capitulated back down. And then actually you had a second one over here. But the interesting thing, it's not interesting, this is the moving averages are sometimes, not sometimes, but they are delayed, right? So in terms of what happens with the price action, but it could give you an indication of where things are going to go. But you could see here, retested the 200 simple moving average pretty much the same day it had the cross on the 200, pretty much the same day you had the silver cross to the upside, you had that retest. Almost, not quite the retest, but it got very close. And then again, it went further down, and then it really went further down. So you could see this pattern happens. It's common for it to happen during bear markets. You have silver crosses to the upside. So it's not a time, in my opinion, it's not a time to get super bullish on Bitcoin, because I think lower prices are coming. If you've seen some of my other videos, you understand why I think that. So you could see this other one over here that during this bear market. So this was a 2014 bear market. Bitcoin comes off of an all-time high over here in, I guess, December 2013. Bitcoin dumps off. So it's like very volatile during this period. Took a while for it to get below the 200 simple moving average. You could see that the silver cross to the downside happened over here in February. Then it's living underneath. The 21 is living underneath the 55 for a while. Then you finally have, it starts to rally again. So people started getting super excited. You have this cross to the upside over here in May of 2014. And then you have the official test over here. And then it actually lives around there for a while, right? So the test happens a little bit later than our current, what's happening now. But it's kind of like around the same time period, right? So like a Q2 essentially. Q2 of the bear market. So and this time it kind of lives up there for like about a week, right? So it tests, it drops down, retests, drops down. It's like oscillating up and down, but never getting convincingly above the 200 simple moving average. It gets rejected. Then it actually gets above it again, right? And then you have this interplay between the 5 exponential moving average and the 21. It gets above it again for some time before it fully capitulates, breaks down, and goes to new lows. But if you think about it, this low over here to this low was not it doesn't look big, but it's probably bigger than, oops, I didn't catch it on the right one there. This has nothing to do with this video. So that's still a big way down. But anyways, yes, you had a big capitulation down to the downside. So, I mean, and this was what, in June 2014, and then you didn't have the ultimate low until January of the next year. So yeah, so this is that first, not the first, I'm sure I guess the first real bear market in Bitcoin. So yeah, so you could see this pattern plays out it's very often that this plays out, and you see the 200-day moving average getting retested. Actually, here there's a silver cross to the upside, but it doesn't actually retest it. And you could actually, yeah. Well, actually, this is actually the actual low here. It's actually here. You have a quick wick down there, and this was in August of 2015, before really breaking out to the upside. So yeah, be careful if you're looking at Bitcoin getting super bullish on it. I would say it's better to be cautious right now, especially because to me the 4-year cycles are intact. If you've seen some of my other videos, if you look here at the weekly, I'm still looking at this as a potential target, although my first target is in between these two simple moving averages. So between, actually no, this is an exponential. This is a 377 exponential moving average and the 200 simple moving average. I'm looking at a target somewhere in here initially. If it gets down there and it starts living down there for a while, then I expect it to get a wick down into this area before the bear market is officially over. Although actually what I'm about to say, I'll save it for another video. But yeah, so that's what I have for today's video. Again, we had a silver cross to the upside couple of days ago here on the daily chart, and expect Bitcoin to potentially retest the 200 simple moving average on the daily, and probably even the 377 exponential moving average on the daily before capitulating further down and continuing this bear market until later this year. Again, if you're liking the content, please subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video.